personally?
A favorite? I don't think there's like one particular because I think I like the whole story together as one because for me it just makes so much sense. It only makes sense when you have the beginning and then the end, you know. And but I guess the very beginning of the book, because for me, I mean, once I read the book, there was something I got a little bit more from the film because I really knew what was going on in his head, the main character, A-Lex. So I guess just the whole description of him drinking this milk drink, you know, how he's describing it in his body, you know, how it feels and how it's making him extremely, you know, violent. You know, he describes it as like razor blades, you know, racing through his veins, and just also his love of Beethoven. You know, he describes it as like an orgasm. He's actually having like a sexual orgasm from listening to it, you know, and so it's like very descriptive and very powerful, and I thought those were like pretty interesting to read.
Okay. So you heard, probably heard of the German band Totenhosen.
Yes.
Made a song about the same topic.
Right.
Did you know the song before, or?
I didn't know if they had a song or if they had a whole album based around it, but
There was one song.
okay, I didn't know that, but I had no idea. But I figured there were probably other bands that had done a song or something, but I wasn't aware of anybody doing an actual album from beginning to the end, including the artwork and the lyrics, and you know, because a lot of the lyrics we use are dealing with the slang that they're using in the book, the slang that A-Lex and his friends talk with, and so we really wanted to go a lot deeper than just doing one song or a few songs. Like the whole thing is just entrenched in, you know, the actual novel.
That's a very interesting topic. I'm looking forward to listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, even the songs are set up that way as well. You know, the first chapter, second, third, and fourth. You know,
I've heard, and the track list is also A-Lex 1, 2.
Right. Exactly.
I'm very happy to listen to it in the future. How was the acceptance, the feedback from the fans for your album?
It's been really positive. I think a lot of people know the story, so it makes it extremely interesting to them. The songs are very straightforward, so the story can. I think there's a lot of complexity in the story at sometimes, but I think with the music, it's just very honest and very real and very powerful. So. A lot of people can really relate to it. You know, it's very aggressive and very primitive in a way, because A-Lex and his gang mentality are extremely primitive and very raw. And so a lot of people can relate to that type of rage.
So what's your favorite song from Sepultura to sing live on stage?
Oh, I really like Conform. It's a song off of A-Lex, and it's a very short and simple song, but it has like this really powerful energy, and it's always fun to do. But it's constantly changing. You know, it will be probably changed tomorrow night. You know, where it'll be, you know, it could be an older song, but a lot of it is a new album because it's fresh to me to do these songs live.
Alright, so how did you get to making music? What's your inspiration for making music, singing, especially at Sepultura?
Right. Well, I think I've always had a love for music, not necessarily hardcore or metal. It didn't start that way. My mother was a music teacher, so I was always surrounded by music and studying piano, and I played trumpet and trombone, and then I sang in chorus or choir in school, and but getting into heavy music, it really started when I started going to shows. At 14, I started going to hardcore shows, punk rock shows. For me, I really liked that style and that scene at the time because the music was extremely brutal, and the lyrics I could really relate to, unlike a lot of the metal lyrics at the time, where it was just a lot of fantasy and wizards and things where I just didn't, it wasn't really me. I didn't I couldn't really grasp it and the outfits and everything. I just like, you know, straight up like shirt, jeans or whatever, and they're playing, you know, the instruments, not really built up with like this glitter and glam and glitz. But as soon as I started going to shows at 14, then I was addicted, you know, to that style of music and seeing, you know, how people react to it.
Okay, so what are the future plans for Sepultura? You finish the tour and then are you going to festivals in summer or?
Yeah, I mean the whole plan is to do summer festivals and then to come back at the end of the year in Europe to do another tour and continue touring on A-Lex until 2010 also. Because I mean we like to play not only Europe but I mean everywhere else in the world as possible. You know, a lot of places we got to play last year, including like Cuba and India and Malaysia, Philippines, and we like to go back to these places again. South Africa we haven't gone to in a long time, and for us it's really interesting to play everywhere, you know, everywhere possible, because, you know, you go across the world, there's actually, you know, somebody that's very similar to you, you know, is a metalhead or into hardcore, you know, and they're the same all over the world, you know, they have this passion and they deserve to, you know, to have a show as well.
So when people hear about Sepultura or Soulfly, the word Caballero appears in their heads. Are there any plans to play like a gig with Caballero Conspiracy or something in the future?
Not that I know of. No, I mean I say that honestly because there's never been any talk like that, and I think everybody's pretty much happy doing what they're doing.
No, I just wanted to ask because when you ask people Sepultura, they react like Caballero.
Right. I mean, it's interesting because a lot of, I mean, I live in Brazil, and when I travel, and since I've been in Sepultura, a lot of times people, like to say like, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sepultura, and so Max, you know, he's still singing in it, and I'm like, no, that happened 12 years ago. So it's a lot of times there's people that are kind of like, I don't know, they're kind of like posing on the name, you know, posing on like, I know a lot about this band, and honestly they don't. They know a lot about the myth of it, because the name is extremely powerful, the name Sepultura, and also the Caballeros. But I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people don't even know that Igor left or if Max left. I mean, believe it or not, I mean, of course, if you're really into metal, you know this, but trust me, there's people that have no clue what's going on.
I've experienced that as well. So at last, can you give a tip or some tips for young bands that you experienced the best to get your music around to the crowd, to people?
I think the best thing is just to believe in yourself and to really stay focused on playing music and forget about everything else around it, you know, as far as like wanting to fit in or trying to appeal to a certain group of people, or, you know, really stay passionate and true to what you like to do and work, you know, really hard, and don't take no for an answer, you know, really show yourself in your music, you know, your personality through your music, and it's like don't do anything that's false, you know, just stay true to it, and, you know, things will happen through time.
Okay, so thank you for your time. Have much fun on the concert, future tour, and I hope to see you again here in Munich.
Alright, thanks for the interview.
Would you mind to give us a station ID?
Sure.
So, it's the radio station.
Alright, Hurricane Rock.
Yeah, right.
So it can just be like, this is Derek Green from Sepultura. And you're watching or
listening to?
Listening to.
It's still a radio station.
Okay. Hey, this is Derek Green from Sepultura, and you're listening to Hurricane Rock.
Perfect, thank you very much.
All right.